The Winn-Dixie store at Lake Sumter Landing is now closed. A man who attacked a bicyclist has hired a criminal defense attorney. A multi-state sexual offender has moved into the Villages. A golf cart has been stolen from Lake Sumter Landing. A young resident has damaged the entrance gate on the historical side of the Villages. A $30 million update to our meter readers. How many holes one's a golf to get this week? Letters to the editor. This and more coming up. Welcome everybody, and thank you for coming back for another exciting news about the Villages, Florida. Hope you all had a good holiday. I did. Got some updates since the last time we spoke, so let's get to them. A 25-year-old resident of Villages has entered a plea in a case in which she has been charged with prostitution. Maya Elizabeth Holton, who lives at 628 Nevia Leon Lane in the San Antonio Villas in the village of Rio Ranchero, pleaded not guilty this past week to a charge in Marion County Court. She remains free on a $1,000 bond. Think about that, a 25-year-old living in a retirement community. Does that make sense to you? A problem child from the Villages is on the lam after a warrant was issued for her arrest. Wendy Sue Alver, 38, who had been living with her father in the village of Chitty Chatty, had a warrant issued for her arrest on Wednesday after skipping a court date in Lake County. The judge has specified that when she is captured, she is to be held without bond. She was arrested in May with a .38 caliber compact Glock 42 firearm tucked in her purse when she was found in a pickup truck that she had stolen from her father. Y'all remember that one? That's her latest update. Here's another update. A judge has warned a sex offender about the possible consequences of his bad behavior after an outburst at a restaurant in the Villages. Jason Kyle Cochran, 50, who lives in the Stonecrest retirement community in Summerfield, recently entered a plea of no contest to a charge of disorderly intoxication in Lake County Court. He was sentenced to time already served in jail and fined. Court records show his mother paid his fines in full. The judge has also warned Cochran that if he is arrested on another disorderly intoxication charge within the next year, he will be declared a habitual offender and will spend 60 days in a treatment facility. We'll see. Well, let's have some more news. Here's one more update that I forgot. A villager who runs a home watch service has entered a plea in a shoplifting case. Barry Busky, 79, of the village of Osceola Hills, this past week in Sumter County Court entered a plea of not guilty to a charge of theft. He remains free on a $150 bond, which was posted by his wife after his arrest November 10th at Publix at Colony Plaza. You know, it's very possible, I generally don't give an opinion on certain cases, but it's very possible that this guy's totally innocent because he admitted he forgot, he zoned out, and I'm thinking about my age and some of the things that I do. I could see me, just forgetting. I know it's not an excuse, but please, that's why I don't want to go through self-checkout, because once you go to self-checkout, you legally have taken responsibility now of yourself, and anything you forget or don't do correctly, you can be charged. I go to a clerk. A woman jailed after a boozy brawl with her boyfriend has had a history of arrests in the Villages. Holly Marie Kitely, 48, was arrested Monday by Marion County Sheriff's deputy on a charge of battery. Her boyfriend told deputies that the North Carolina native had been drinking when she hit him in the face, leaving him with a black eye. They had been traveling in a car when the altercation occurred. When they returned home, a neighbor overheard a loud argument and saw the boyfriend running down the driveway to escape from Kitely. Man, she must be a tough old broad. In 2022, she grabbed a table leg and smashed a television owned by her boyfriend. Kylie had been put on probation after she was arrested on a cocaine charge in 2019 at a home in the Villages. Sumter County Sheriff's deputies had been called to the home for a well-being check, and during their visit, Kitely revealed she had a white powder substance hidden in a toaster. It turned out to be cocaine. Coyote was arrested again in 2021 after an intoxicated outburst at Margarita Republic at Spanish Springs Town Square. Man, take a lesson. An intoxicated woman was arrested after a domestic disturbance in the Villages. Lynn Ann Barnes, 43, was found at about 5:45 p.m. Monday in the front yard of a residence where she resides with two people over the age of 65, according to the arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. The report did not disclose the address as Barnes' relationship to the two other residents of the home. Deputies had been summoned to investigate a report of a physical disturbance. Barnes was under the influence of something due to her slurring her speech. She had been in an argument with a woman in the home who went to a bedroom to get away from Barnes. Barnes followed the woman into the bedroom and began pushing her. The elderly man attempted to intervene and Barnes struck him multiple times in the arm. Barnes was arrested on 2 felony counts of battery on a person over the age of 65. She was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center where she was initially held without bond. Leave her there, people. You tried to help her out. You give her free rent in a place where rent's higher than hell in the wintertime and she treats you like that. Just leave her there. A detective has tracked down a suspect in the theft of a golf cart in the Villages. The golf cart was stolen on Halloween from Barnes & Noble at Lake Sumter Landing. Surveillance cameras showed a truck towing a trailer pulling up to the area in which the golf cart was parked, according to the arrest report. A man got out of the truck, loaded the golf cart onto the trailer, and drove away. The surveillance camera was able to capture the license plate number on the truck. The license plate was registered to 32-year-old Eric Michael Porter of Ocala. The detective, armed with surveillance images, went to Porter's home and spoke to his wife. She identified her husband as well the truck and trailer in the surveillance images. She said her husband came home with a golf cart in early November. She said he received it in a deal to complete a job for his business, according to the arrest report. Porter was arrested Monday on a felony charge of grand theft. The Vermont native was booked on $2,500 bond at the Sumter County Detention Center. You know, I've mentioned this to Sue and other people, just trying to make a point, and this is a good story for me to give you my story. You pull up to a stoplight anywhere in the Villages, and a truck pulls up to you, and there's a trailer with 2 or 3 golf carts on it. Well, first of all, I always say, how do you know them golf carts ain't stolen? Here's why. There's a law in Sumter County, I think it's in Florida, that if you're doing business and you have a truck and a trailer, on that truck door has to be visible the name of the business with phone numbers and things like that on there. That's the law. And if you see a truck pulling a trailer and there's no golf carts on it, one or two things is happening here. Either that business is breaking the law by not having that name of their business stuff on that door, or, like I say, how do we know those golf carts ain't stolen right now looking at them? How do you know? Answer is, you don't. Do business with businesses that are legit. A young resident in the Villages has been charged with repeatedly damaging a gate which provides access for golf carts. John David Newell, 26, who resides at 1701 Hilton Head Boulevard on the historic side of the Villages, has been charged with damaging the gate at 1157 Paradise Drive. The unique golf cart only gate has a card reader that was put in after the legendary 2013 battle in which the developer tried to wall off the Villages from outside access. Newell was caught on video on October 6 punching the camera and access card reader, breaking it free from its mount and causing it to fall to the ground, according to the arrest report of Lady Lake Police Department. Newell returned to the gate on October 14 and 27th and forced the gate open, causing damage to the hydraulic arm on both occasions. The damage was estimated at $400. The Massachusetts native was arrested Monday on a charge of criminal mischief. He was booked at the Lake County Jail on a $1,000 bond. Newell has a long history of arrests in
Florida's friendliest hometown.
In 2022, Newell was arrested after arguing with his grandmother over the care of his daughter. Let me see, he lives on the historic side of the Villages, and he was arguing with his grandmother over the care of his daughter. Newell reportedly grabbed his grandmother by the arms, leaving behind bruises. Newell was arrested in 2020 after he got into an altercation with his grandmother because he was not allowed to use the golf cart. Newell had been arrested after allegedly threatening the mother of his baby with a butcher knife in 2019 during an altercation on the historic side of the Villages. In 2016, Newell was arrested after damaging his uncle's golf cart, also on the historic side of the Villages. Are you people up there trying to tell me that you don't see the problem here? You don't see what's going on? Good Lord. An unlicensed driver from Honduras was arrested after he was caught speeding. His name will be in the picture. We'll call him Jose. Jose of Lakeland was driving a white Chevy van at 7:15 a.m. Sunday on State Road 471 when he was caught on radar traveling at 57 miles per hour in a 35 mile per hour zone, according to the arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. During a traffic stop, Jose admitted he does not have a driver's license. He was arrested on a charge of driving without a license. He was issued a warning for speeding. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $150 bond. Once again, there's so much information missing here. And here's some updates on some changes being made in the Villages as far as meter readers go. The Villages is replacing 140,000 water meters in a massive $30 million modernization effort. The meter replacement began in mid-November and is being handled by National Metering Services Incorporated. Homeowners will receive a postcard in the mail in advance of installation advising them of the approximate time frame that NMS will be working in their neighborhood to perform meter replacement upgrades. Homeowners do not have to be home when the work is taking place. The new meters use automated meter reading AMR technology. The new AMR technology will replace human meter readers that Villages are used to seeing in blue Jacobs golf carts manually reading meters at each and every home. The new drive-by technology will use a panel on a vehicle that will travel through neighborhoods and automatically read meters. It has been estimated that the workforce will be cut by 70 to 80%. Gee, Mr. President, we need more jobs. A woman from North Carolina was arrested on a drunk driving charge in a golf cart at a town square in the Villages. Christine Clark Grunsky, 36, of Swannanoa, North Carolina, was driving a gold 2018 Yamaha golf cart that was backing out of a parking spot shortly after 7 p.m. Friday at Lake Sumter Landing, according to the arrest report from Sumter County Sheriff's Office. Now, I know I probably screwed up both of those names up there. Sorry. A deputy noticed the golf cart did not have any rear vehicle lights illuminated and initiated a traffic stop. Grunsky presented her North Carolina driver's license, and the deputy could smell the strong odor of an alcoholic beverage coming from inside the golf cart. Grunsky was asked how much she had had to drink and initially claimed she had had a martini over dinner. She later admitted to drinking an espresso martini, a very dirty martini, and a third drink that she couldn't recall the name. I'm going to guess that a very dirty martini, I don't know much about that, that very dirty would mean a lot of alcohol. Is that what that means? Or hey, put that in a dirty glass. The deputy requested that Grunsky take part in field sobriety exercises. Can we just not do that and I'll have someone come pick us up? Once the deputy explained that was not an option, Grunsky pointed out she had suffered a right ankle injury, which had been surgically repaired after a childhood horseback riding accident. Her performance in the exercise led the deputy to conclude she had been driving impaired. She refused to provide breath samples. In her purse, Grunsky had a receipt showing she had paid for 2 espresso martinis and 2 very dirty martinis at Red Sauce Restaurant at the Square. A computer check revealed Grunsky had previously been arrested on a DUI charge in 2009, also in Florida. Grunsky was arrested on a charge of driving under the influence and booked at the Sumter County Detention Center. She was released after posting a $1,000 bond.
Hello, Porch Sitting crew. This is Craig Morrison. I wanted to bring to you today just some information, especially of those of you who are celebrating a birthday within the next year. As you can see, there's a few things that you may relate to here. One is a birthday card, one is an overstuffed mailbox, and one is a headache. And I want to just tell you that one of those can be alleviated in working with me. These are the things that usually happen when the response people have. They're scared to death, they raise a white flag and surrender, or they ask for help. And that's what I'm here for. If you were born in 1959, 3 months prior to your birth month itself and 3 months afterwards is actually your initial enrollment period. I always recommend that people go ahead and take care of things 3 months prior to your birth month. And the first step in that journey is actually applying for Medicare Part B. These are the things that we look at and the transformation that occurs. So you see the guy on the left, kind of grumpy, looking around, got Medicare on the wall, knows he needs to do it, but doesn't know where to start. And then you got the guy after they've met with me that's very happy and satisfied with what's going on. It's not just males that get confused, also females. So again, if you are like a deer in the headlights and are just getting a headache from going through all that material you get and you want to be this happy lady on the right, that is what I have to share with you today. I just wanted to let you know that there is a resource out there. That's me. And I am more than willing to answer any and every question you have so that you understand this process. Just remember, my consultations are always free. I look forward to hearing from you.
A convicted multi-state sex offender is paying a holiday visit in the Villages. Edward Arthur Featherstone Jr., 55, has registered a temporary address at 2963 Silk Tree Terrace in the village of Fernandina. According to the Department of Law Enforcement, Featherstone has a long list of convictions. In 1991, an indecent exposure in California. 1993, lewdness in Utah. 2005, indecency with a child in Texas. 2018, indecency with a child by exposure in Texas. He has 2 vehicles, a tan 1995 Chevrolet G2 motorized home with license plate LK2 PRTY, like to party. That's what that stands for. An orange 2003 GMC Sierra pickup with license plate 31EEJR. Sounds like an upstanding citizen coming to a retirement community near you. This probably should have been any updates, but what can I tell you? I didn't see it. But you guys will remember this, those of you that follow. A dog walker who allegedly attacked an 82-year-old fellow villager has entered a plea in a criminal case. John Stephen Frand, 72 of the village of McClure, has entered a plea of not guilty to a charge of felony battery in Sumter County Court. He has retained a local criminal defense attorney, Jamie Washoe Spivey, who entered the plea on Frand's behalf. Hope I'm saying that name right. The older man said he had been riding his bicycle at 8:45 a.m. November the 8th when he passed Frand, who was walking his dog, according to the arrest report of the Wildwood Police Department. Frand reportedly shouted at the bicyclist, ordering him to get a horn. Frand began cussing at the bicyclist, who admitted he had cussed back. Well, as far as I know, cussing ain't against the law. Am I correct? Freedom of speech? The older resident was riding his bicycle when he passed Frand's home on Carla Court and noticed his dogs in the front yard. He said he tried to jot down Frand's address to file a police report. Frand suddenly exited his home and approached the bicyclist. Frand threatened to rip him off the bike and beat him. Frand allegedly grabbed the back of his shirt and ordered him to never return. It's a bit much, buddy. The older man rode the bike back to his home and called law enforcement. Frand told police that the 82-year-old almost ran over his dog and then made the mistake of pedaling to his home. It's a public road. I see where you're coming from, but you always have to remember things in kind of a calm manner. It's a public road. He admitted he grabbed the man's shirt. Frand also told police he had been expecting them. Well, at least you know. A couple old duffers. Here's another one that should have been in updates, but it's been a while. So anyway, I'm going to read it. For those of you that's new out there, I'll kind of help get you caught up. I don't understand 75% of these reports. 25%, I can get them some slack, but anyway, let's read this. A wife's testimony has persuaded a judge to allow a villager to escape prosecution in a domestic violence case. This past month, a judge in Lake County Court ruled that 59-year-old Tony Black can enter into a pretrial intervention contract that will allow him to escape prosecution following his arrest September 27th at his home on Pebble Beach Lane in the village of Orange Blossom Gardens. The contract states he must undergo a mental health evaluation and cannot have hostile contact with his wife. Court records indicate she testified on her husband's behalf. A neighbor intervened upon hearing Black's wife hysterically screaming for help. The wife told the neighbor that Black, who stands 6 feet tall and weighs 245 pounds, had choked her, pulled her hair, and prevented her from leaving the house. She indicated that she and Black, who had been married for a decade, had a disagreement over finances. When the wife tried to leave, Black forcefully removed her Apple Watch and threatened to smash her phone. He told her that if she called the police, they both would die. A neighbor took the woman back to her home and contacted law enforcement. I try to put that picture in my head and wonder why. And here's a little update on what's happening between the Aldi takeover of the Winn-Dixie stores here in the Villages. On Sunday afternoon, shoppers kept driving up to the front door of the shuttered Winn-Dixie grocery store at Lake Sumter Landing. A sign on the door made it clear the store has closed. All the shopping carts have vanished. There were no signs of life on the other side of the large glass locked doors. Yet, longtime shoppers still appeared to be in disbelief. Where have you been? They've been talking about this takeover for pushing almost a year now, and you act surprised? On Saturday, as the parking lots were filled to capacity around Lake Sumter Landing for the Christmas tree lighting ceremony, the very last of the shoppers picked through the bare shelves at Winn-Dixie on the eve of the closure. So what does the future hold for that bit of prime real estate
in Florida's friendliest hometown?
The Winn-Dixie supermarket at Lake Sumter Landing was one of 3 locations in the Villages acquired by Aldi's in 2023. And they're surprised. The building will be split up into 3 parts. It has been announced that a 7,000 square foot enhanced liquor store will take up a section of the building. An unnamed tenant will take up another section of the site. The Aldi store will be in the center between the grocery store and the mystery tenant. The renovation of the former Winn-Dixie store is expected to cost more than $1 million. The renovation is expected to take up to 6 months. They'll be shocked about that too. 6 months? I didn't know that. People here just don't pay attention. How about some letters to the editor? To the editor. I'm surprised the Villages Hospital got a high as a C rating. 2 months ago, when I was in the ER, I was given a diagnosis of a mild heart attack. The assigned nurse practitioner gave me the diagnosis from another patient. What? That's sent in by Patricia Quaitman from the village of Amelia. The assigned nurse practitioner gave me the diagnosis from another patient. Oh, I think what she's saying is they diagnosed another patient and she got her mixed up with that patient and they gave her the wrong diagnosis. Well, this is inexcusable. But that hospital has always had trouble in the emergency room. That's where I really hear the complaints. To the editor. I am a regular poker player and love the games and the people who run them. I would like to start by noting that chips have always been used at all the games since they first opened many years ago. And she's not talking about potato chips. What some may not realize is that these games are about so much more than playing cards. We have a number of players with health issues, including several who use walkers or wheelchairs. One of these individuals is my father. When he first moved to the Villages in 2004, he joined a golf league and played pickleball on a daily basis. Over the past 15 years after being diagnosed with Parkinson's, he has had no choice but to give up these sports, as well as other activities he was once passionate about. I honestly don't know what he would have done without the poker games, and I know that many are in similar situations. The poker games give us all a chance to get out, socialize, and have some fun, an opportunity that some, like my father, may not otherwise have. I sincerely hope Mr. Rohan understands just how much these games mean to all of us and choose not to take them away. That's sent in by Amanda Enright from the village of Lynn Haven. Look, I don't know all of what's going on. Let me just make a couple of comments here. Mr. Rohan doesn't really care about you or anybody here. All he cares about is his job, his income, and taking care of the developer. That's his priority. But in your case about the poker stuff, it's my understanding, and I could be totally wrong here. If anybody knows anything, put it in the comment box below and let them know that you have to have a specific license to actually play poker for money. And if you don't have that particular license, and I think in a rec center, then that means it fall under the villages because they own the rec center or somebody, and they would have to have that license to be able to do that, and they would have to sponsor those games, and I don't think they have that right to do that. So, if you want to use chips, that's up to you guys to do what you want to do. I don't think they can actually stop you. We're here in my neighborhood, and we had it every month on the same day, same time for 2 hours. In that room, we set up tables, they played cards. And we pretty much just shut the door, had our own refreshments, and we just did what we wanted to do. They didn't know what we were doing. Nobody came in there to watch us. It's our room. And so I don't understand what's going on there. I really don't. But good luck to you. And I'm sorry to hear about your dad. To the editor. How do we start a campaign for bars and clubs in the villages to carry gluten-free beers? What? There are several on the market. Grist by Lakefront Brewery is my favorite, but there are others. There is a need. I have never heard the need. I have never heard anybody ever ask for it except you on this here. I'm saying there might be a few people, but there ain't enough for a bartender, I don't think, to buy this stuff. That's sent in by Robert DeQuilinetti from the village of Mira Mesa. I like the village of Mira Mesa. It's an older village, but I've always liked it. It's one of the few villages that has kind of like rolling scenery, rolling hills, kind of. Well, good luck on your gluten-free beer. I don't get it. Well, thanks everybody for joining us for another exciting episode of the Village's news and what really goes on around here. For those of you that's not a Patreon member, I implore you to join our channel to help support this channel. I dedicate all my news to all my Patreon and YouTube members. If it weren't for them, I probably couldn't do this. I don't think I deserve any of their support, but I sure am appreciative to have it, and they know it. So with that being said, let's get out of here, and be well, be safe, stay alert,
and don't leave your key in that golf cart.
This week's news is brought to you by my YouTube and Patreon members.